Hey, what's up, you guys? Happy Tuesday. Please forgive my sweaty appearance. I was working out outside and it is hot as hell here in New York. But I wanted to just touch base quickly on this whole Micah Parsons versus Malik Hooker situation. Malik was on Keyshawn's podcast, and he had some words about Micah choosing to do podcasting, and it's been circulating all over social media. So I wanted to actually go back and look at what was asked and get like the full context of what happened, because a lot of times people say something and they take that one sentence and they just blast it for clickbait, and then everyone's like up in arms and it becomes a whole big thing. But if you go back and look at the actual clip of what was said, you're like, oh, it wasn't even that bad. So I'm gonna play the clip of what actually was said in its entirety, and then we'll come back and I'll give you my thoughts.
So you're a veteran now, whatnot. How
Yeah.
you feel? And be honest with me though. And I ain't trying to get you in trouble. I really don't care. But
No,
I
no,
gotta ask you
yeah.
this question.
Now, why is Keyshawn being messy? The first thing he said was, I'm not trying to get you in trouble now, but I gotta ask. You knew, Keyshawn, you was about to stir the pot a little bit and get this man in trouble. But let me finish playing this.
How you feel about Micah having a podcast during the season? How you feel about that?
Uh, honestly, man, and this is me. Like, I'm one of those guys. Like, I'm not into that type of stuff. You know, some guys it works for. You know, like you see the Jason Kelseys and guys like that who are successful with the podcast as well as performing on the field and having success with it. So I don't have a problem with it. I feel like a lot of these guys though, they just get on there sometimes and they start falling into the part of just saying stuff for the clicks and having people to come to you and stuff like that. So I mean, I don't have no problem with it. My thing would be though, for Micah, my advice would be for Micah would be, just make sure we're all right, where we're and being where your feet are. Because if we're at work and the run game's terrible, but you're doing a podcast every week and the run game is terrible, then what are you really caring about? Are you caring about the crowd that is watching your podcast? Are you caring about the success of our team and the Super Bowl that we're trying to reach? See what I'm saying? So I mean, like, but also, a lot of people got to remember, Mike is young. He's still trying to find his way. He's still trying to grow into who he's trying to be. So I give him grace. Honestly, like I always hear people say stuff that he just said on the podcast or something silly.
Okay, you guys, so there you have it. Now, I'm a little bit confused because on one hand you're saying I don't have a problem with it, but then you proceed to say, well, if I did have any advice, although Mike, I don't believe I asked for advice, but if you did have any advice to give, your thing would be make sure the team is good first, before you do the podcast, and make sure that everything is happening the way it's supposed to with the run game and so on and so forth. Do you care about the success of our team, or do you care more about the success of the people watching your podcast? I think for me, that is where my issue is. If you wouldn't have a problem with it, then just say I don't have a problem with it. Mike is young, he's still trying to find his footing, and then move along. But Micah, you guys, I don't know if you saw the tweet. And I'm just going to paraphrase a little bit, but Micah definitely had an issue with it. His thing was, why didn't Malik come to him and say what he had to say, because they're locker mates, they're obviously teammates. He has his phone number, so if he had any issue, he could just came to him directly. And I do say I agree with that. Now, I don't have a problem with teammates or coworkers holding each other accountable, because I feel like you're supposed to do that. If I'm doing something that's wrong or I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, then by all means, as my leader, my veteran, my captain, come to me, tell me what I should be doing. But in this case, that's not what happened. And I feel like he could have just given Michael that phone call, text message, whatever, and just said, hey, look. So now I'm wondering, is he speaking strictly for how he feels? Or is there something else happening with the team and maybe other teammates that are talking to Malik feel the same way? And there's a bigger issue here than what we realized. CD hasn't been paid yet. Dak hasn't been paid. I don't believe Mike has been paid yet. There's a lot that seems to be going on with this team. A lot of expectations. Dallas Cowboys are a huge brand. So he had to have known that whatever you say was going to be blown up, be it good, bad, or indifferent. And I'm just wondering what happens now going forward, because when we go to training camp, are we gonna have words when I see you? Like what's gonna happen now? And I feel like it also puts a bigger microscope now on Mike, because now that he's made this comment, The minute that Micah has a bad game, they're gonna go back and say, well, maybe he should care less about his podcasting and care more about what's happening, in the football game and with the Dallas Cowboys organization. But also, Micah's one part of the team. Granted, he is arguably the best player on the team, depending on who you ask. That could be him or CeeDee Lamb, but nevertheless, he is still a very intricate part of this team and their success. And I think he's done a great job. So I'm not sure where this is coming from, and I'm not sure how they move forward as a team. But I'm curious to see what happens next, you guys. And tell me what you think. Do you think that there's something more here, or this is just easy breezy, no big deal? What do you think? Big deal or no deal? Let me know in the comments. See you in the next video. Stay cool.